Hello, happy Saturday. How is how are you out there? How are things going with the weather? We made it out of the snowpocalypse. I think everybody's safe and sound. It's still a little chilly out there. Beyond chilly, I know. For some of us, that's still in single digit weather. But that's not going to stop us, right? We need to keep on keeping on and figuring out a way to get past those barriers that the snow created for us and that the cold weather has created for us. And let's just keep on going. So, today, let's talk a minute about who we are and how who we are today and who we are realistically may be different than who we want to be. Now, that doesn't mean that who you are is bad at all. But we have innate personalities that, we're born with that we really cannot change. And so, I've gone to retreats where as a team we went through the Myers-Briggs and did the personality assessment and looked at what everybody was, because that was part of the leadership development, that we were all going to get to know each other better and understand how to interact with each other based on our personality um, profiles. And there was one person who was in a higher leadership position, and that one person uh, got her profile back and was like, no, no, I don't want to be that. That's not what I want to be. And the instructor had to really go through with her that, you don't get to choose what your personality profile is. It's there. It's who you are. But understanding it is the first step towards helping you figure out how it is holding you back, or how it can help you move yourself forward. So kind of knowing yourself and getting to know who you are uh, is going to help you move towards who you want to be. So for me, yes, I've taken the Myers-Briggs. I am an INFP. So I am intuitive. I am a feeler, all those good things, which makes sometimes things hard, conflicts really hard for me. But the one thing that really, really helped me was not the Myers-Briggs and understanding my personality profile, but going through and understanding uh Gretchen Rubin's four tendencies, and understanding how I interact with accountability. So accountability is something that we have to have every day in our life. We're accountable to ourselves to get out of bed. We're accountable to somebody else, maybe a boss, maybe a business partner, to get up and get certain things done, during the day. And how you react to accountability really sets you up for, how things are going to go in your day. So I am a rebel personality, which means I don't really respond well to any kind of accountability, which really isn't a great thing. And in the instance that was my profile, and I learned that was what it was pointing to, that I was a rebel. My initial reaction was, no, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person who says that I'm not accountable, because, I feel that accountability is really important. So in my mind, I'm saying accountability is important, but my personality and my heart is saying I'm a rebel. I'm not going to be accountable to anyone. So, how I have to overcome that is really with myself, self talk, and give myself a choice. You can uh, go out in the snow and shovel the snow now so that it's clean and you don't have to stumble through it getting to the car. Or you can leave it and just blow it off because you don't want to do it. And then later on, what's going to happen is you're going to have to trump through uh, snow and ice to get out to the car, to get out of the driveway. So, you give yourself a choice, uh, clarify what's going to happen if you make this choice versus that choice. And then I have to make the choice. So, as much as I don't want to go out in the snow and shovel because I hate it, it might be a lesser of two evils, and is shoveling the snow versus having to trump through the snow for multiple days because I chose not to shovel it. So that's just a simple example. But you may have certain personality traits that conflict with what it is that you're trying to do with your life. And knowing what those are is truly the best thing that you can do so that you understand, hey, this is hard for me. And so I need to do some extra things to be able to actually achieve that result that I want, because it is really hard for me to do that. So, as an introvert, it's really hard to get on live sessions and talk to an audience. Even if I'm just talking to myself, it's really hard as an introvert. And after I do these live sessions, or after I am on a Zoom call where I'm on video and I'm paying attention and I'm trying to be interactive, and after I have a networking meeting or something where I'm interacting with people, after those things, my body feels exhausted. I just feel like I am burnt and that I am tired, and I just want to crawl into my pajamas and not think. So when I get really stressed, what I ask for is, please don't make me think about anything, because thinking makes me stress. And so, as an introvert, thinking is something that I do all the time, all the time, all the time. And maybe it's not just about being an introvert, but being, sometimes lacking the confidence to move forward with certain things that I've never done, or being too scared to try something new or to change something because it's always been this way. So, but the point is, who we are may be different than who we want to be. So if I want to be a person who gets out there and stands in front of an audience and shares motivational content, or shares content that is going to help someone in their business, that really is conflictual with being an introvert. If I want to be the CEO of a company, a big company, let's say. So, not my own small business, and that still is, somewhat difficult because it all relationships fall to me as the CEO. But say I want to be a CEO of a company, and I'm an introvert. Um, and introverts are often overlooked for higher level positions and sales positions, because of the fact that they are introverts and they are different. So when you go into a room and there's this big extroverted personality in the room, and you're the quiet one that sits quietly to yourself and doesn't really interact with everybody and isn't like buzzing around excited. You're not that person that's like, oh, this is cool. Those extroverts often get the attention that you don't, just because you're quiet and you're not that one that's out there putting yourself out in front of people and saying, hey, look at me, because you don't want people to look at you, because that makes you uncomfortable as an introvert. But let me tell you this. So this has stuck with me for years. I had a leadership team and was part of a leadership team way back when, and I was always the quiet one. And my typical what I do is I do a lot of listening. And I listen to the whole conversation, and I just keep listening. And like almost when the conversation is about to wrap up, that's when I'm about ready to put my 2 cents out there. So, we're in this leadership team and having this conversation. I don't remember what we were talking about, building programs or strategic planning or whatever it was. But I hadn't said anything. And somebody pointed that out, that I had not said anything during this whole time that we had been going through all of these things, and people had put forth their ideas, and we're talking about things, and it was pointed out I had not said anything. And our my boss's boss actually responded to that with the comment, well, she will speak when she's ready to speak, and it will be, I can't remember, very dynamic and thought provoking, was what he said. Um, and what he was saying about me was that, yes, I don't interact in the conversation in the small pieces, but when I say something, that people should listen. And you know what that feels like to come from your boss's boss? That's like awesome. I mean, what an awesome feeling to have somebody recognize that you're being quiet, and the way you interact in meetings and with leadership teams is actually a strength, and a strength for you and a strength for the team. That feeling is phenomenal. It's so phenomenal that obviously, I'm talking about it today because it stuck with me, and it made me okay with who I was, because I always felt like, maybe I'm not talking because I'm too scared, or I don't really know what to say, or I don't know whether what I'm going to say is, people are going to really pay attention to it or really care, or if it's going to resonate with them. So, I just kept quiet because I was always that person that didn't really like jump into conversations right away. And so, knowing that somebody had recognized my strength in my ability to absorb information that was going on in a interactive session like a leadership strategic planning meeting, and then be able to offer something of value, is tremendous. So find your strength, and find out what it is that you can contribute and how you are contributing, because it's all important. All those extroverts were important too. All the people that were having the interaction, and while I was listening, all of that was important too, because I wouldn't have had anything to respond to without all of that conversation that came before. So while I was really feeling like who I wanted to be was those folks that were able to jump in and kind of take control of the conversation, and get some stuff done and start working on action steps. Who I wanted to be was that person, but that wasn't me. So I was the person who needed to gather all of the information and assimilate it before I could come up with something profound to say. So embrace who you are. Don't downplay who you are. Now, even if it conflicts with who you think you want to be, you still have to value who you are. And part of that is understanding, what your core values are. So I've gone through some mentoring regarding goal setting. And one of the first things that we do in goal setting is establish our core values and understanding who we are from that core value perspective, because that should be woven into everything that you do. And so one of the teachers in the class, or in the goal setting, it was kind of a goal setting retreat. Um, he had, his story was that they went through the core value exercise, and one of his core values was fun. And he was like, that's not a cool core value to have. I don't want to be fun. That's not, something that I really want to be. But you have to embrace who you are. And if your core value is fun, embrace it. My core values, one of them is authenticity. So I, get angry if folks are not authentic, if things are not authentic. That is one of my strongest core values. Now, when I went through the core values exercise, it was hard to narrow it down to 3 out of a whole list of, a whole list of core values. But what I found was it really is me. So I can accept that those are my core values. But it also led me to understand why I feel so strongly about something. So when you feel so strongly about something, you can almost be assured that one of your core values it's in conflict with one of your core values, because that's when we tend to get big heartfelt reactions. And maybe we feel passionate about it, even if passion isn't one of our core values, but we just feel like this angry, and we get pulled into those things. So, think about it. And we can go through a core value exercise at some point, and let's maybe do that. Let's plan on that. Get out there, maybe get together, go through some core values, and do some goal setting. But if you can identify your core values and you know what those are, then it will help you when you feel this strong sense of reaction. One of the things you should do is stop and say, maybe this is conflicting with one of my core values. And that's why I'm having such a strong reaction. And what that does is, by acknowledging that, it helps you sort of reframe how you go about responding to whatever that was. So, if it's a Facebook post, we all react to Facebook posts. And, but if it is conflicting with one of your core values, you may want to take a little bit more time in thinking through how you're going to respond to that, so it come off as conflictual, or that it's not offensive to other people. And I'm not all about saying you never worry about everything you say because you don't want to offend people. That's not what I'm saying at all. But just be aware of how your core values impact the things that are going on in your life. And so your core values may change over time, but like your personality, they are who you are. So you have to figure out a way that if your core values, how do you line your core values with where you're going and who you want to be, whether you are looking for a job or in your business or just in your life. How are those core values reflective of on those things? So uh, just to wrap up, who you are may be different than who you want to be, and that's okay. So, and that doesn't necessarily mean that your personality is going to change. And you may aspire to be this person that you're not. But think about what are the things about that person or that um, job or whatever it is that you feel that you like. And is it really, are you really trying to be someone else? Or is it just that you haven't truly understood who you are and how you can leverage that for your own success? Because hopefully it's the latter, because we are all unique. And I say, be who you are, embrace it, because it'll make your journey in life and business and everything else so much easier. So I'm going to leave that here. And I hope to see you all next Saturday. And I am logging off, and stay warm and have a great one. Bye.